The notification popped up on my laptop at 2:56 a.m. while I was finishing a presentation for work. A Google Photos alert. New shared album, Girls' Weekend in Miami. I almost ignored it. My wife Ashley had just gotten back from that trip 2 days ago, and I'd already seen dozens of poolside selfies and beach sunset shots. But something made me click. Maybe it was the insomnia. Maybe it was fate. The album loaded slowly, image by image. Ashley and her college friends posing with cocktails, more beach photos, a nightclub with strobing lights. Then I saw it. A photo that made my blood run cold. Ashley, wearing a dress I'd never seen before, pressed against some guy in what looked like a hotel room. His hands were on her waist. Her head was tilted back, laughing. But it was the next photo that destroyed me. Same guy. Same room. Her lips on his neck. His hand tangled in her hair. I sat there staring at the screen, my fingers frozen on the trackpad. We'd been married for 6 years, together for 9. We had a 4-year-old daughter, Emma, sleeping peacefully down the hall. My hands started shaking as I scrolled through more photos. There were at least a dozen, different angles, different poses, all unmistakably intimate. The metadata showed they were taken 3 nights ago, the second night of her trip. The worst part? Her friend Brittany had uploaded them, which meant other people knew. Other people had seen my wife with another man and thought nothing of sharing it to a group album. I looked at the sharing settings. 12 people had access to this album. 12 people who now knew something I'd just discovered at nearly 3 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Ashley was asleep upstairs in our bed. She'd come home Sunday afternoon, kissed me at the door, and told me all about the amazing spa day they'd had. She'd shown Emma the seashells she'd collected. She'd curled up next to me on the couch that night and watched a movie, her head on my shoulder like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. I took screenshots. Every single photo. Then I backed them up to 3 different cloud services and emailed them to myself. My hands were operating on autopilot while my brain tried to process what I was seeing. The guy in the photos was tall, athletic build, probably mid-30s like us. In one shot, you could see his reflection in a mirror, expensive watch, designer clothes. In another, there was a champagne bottle on the nightstand behind them. This wasn't some drunken mistake at a club. This was planned, deliberate. I checked the timestamps. The photos spanned from 11:34 p.m. to 2:15 a.m., over 2 hours documented. How much more had happened that wasn't photographed? My phone buzzed. A text from my brother Kyle. "Dude, did you see Brittany's photo dump? Call me." So he'd seen it too. My stomach twisted. How many other people were looking at these photos right now? How many people were pitying me, or laughing at me, or texting each other about poor, clueless Andrew? I stood up, my legs unsteady. Part of me wanted to storm upstairs and confront her immediately, wake her up and demand answers. But another part, the part that had spent the last 6 years building a life with this woman, needed to think. I walked to Emma's room and stood in the doorway watching her sleep. She had Ashley's blonde hair, my blue eyes. She'd just started pre-K and came home every day excited to tell me about her friends and what she'd learned. What would this do to her? Back in my office, I started researching. I didn't even know what I was looking for at first. Divorce lawyers in Austin, Texas, child custody laws, community property rules. The words blurred together on the screen. Then I stopped. I was getting ahead of myself. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe the photos looked worse than they were. No. I pulled up the photos again. There was no innocent explanation for your wife having another man's mouth on her collarbone at 1:47 a.m. in a hotel room. I thought about our last few months together. Had there been signs? She'd been on her phone more than usual, but she worked in marketing. She was always on her phone. She'd gone to the gym more frequently, but She'd said she wanted to get back in shape after having Emma. She'd seemed distracted sometimes, but we both had demanding jobs and a young kid. Life was distracting. Or maybe I'd just been blind. The presentation I'd been working on sat forgotten on my screen. I had a meeting at 9 a.m. to pitch a major client. It felt absurdly trivial now. How was I supposed to stand in a conference room and talk about quarterly projections when my entire life was imploding? Another text from Kyle. Ashley's friend is an idiot for posting those. I'm sorry, man. Whatever you need. I typed back, can't talk now. Later. I needed to think strategically. If I confronted Ashley now, emotional and sleep-deprived, I'd say things I couldn't take back. I'd make decisions I hadn't thought through. And if this was heading where I thought it was heading, toward divorce court, I needed to be smart. I opened a new browser tab and searched for the best divorce attorneys in Austin. Started reading reviews, made notes. One name kept appearing, Patricia Walsh. Former prosecutor, specialized in high-conflict divorces, reputation for being ruthless but fair. At 4:30 a.m., I finally heard movement upstairs. Ashley's alarm. She had an early meeting, too. I quickly closed all the tabs and pulled up my work presentation, trying to look normal. Trying to be the husband I'd been yesterday, before my world shattered. Her footsteps padded across the ceiling above me. The shower turned on. In 30 minutes, she'd come downstairs, pour her coffee, kiss me goodbye, and head to work, just like every other Wednesday, except I'd be watching her every move, seeing a stranger where my wife used to be. The notification chimes at 6:47 a.m., pulling me from the half-sleep I'd fallen into at my desk. Plant alert. Manual override detected. Zone 3. Sunroom. I stare at my phone, brain foggy from the 3 hours of broken rest I'd managed after finally closing the laptop at 4. The Plant Pal app, Ashley had insisted on it last year when she started her indoor garden sanctuary phase. Automated watering, humidity sensors, grow lights on timers. The whole sunroom wired up like a NASA greenhouse. I swipe the notification open, the alert history loads, and my stomach drops. Manual overrides, 6 of them. All logged during Ashley's Miami trip. Saturday, 3:42 p.m. Sunday, 11:18 a.m. Sunday, 4:33 p.m. But Ashley was in Miami. I was at the house with Emma all weekend, and I sure as hell didn't touch the plant system. My hands are already shaking again as I tap into the detailed logs. The app has a security feature. Ashley had enabled it after reading some article about smart home vulnerabilities. Anytime someone physically adjusts the timers or sensors, the tablet mounted in the sunroom takes a snapshot. The first image loads. A man's hand. Thick fingers, dark hair on the knuckles. A silver watch I don't recognize. The hand is reaching for the timer control on the wall, the one that manages the misting system for Ashley's ferns. Not my hand. Not my watch. I scroll to the next override. Same hand, different angle. This time I can see part of a forearm, the edge of a navy sleeve. The third snapshot shows more. The hand adjusting the grow light timer, and in the reflection of the glass panel, blurred but visible, a man's face. Dark hair, maybe early 40s, definitely not anyone I know. Someone was in our house, while Ashley was in Miami, while I was here with Emma. My mind races through the weekend. Saturday afternoon, Emma and I had been at the park for hours. Sunday morning, we'd gone to breakfast and then to her friend's birthday party. Sunday late afternoon, I'd taken her to get ice cream, then we'd watched movies until bedtime. The house had been empty. Wide open windows of time when someone could have been inside. I pull up the app's camera feed feature. The tablet in the sunroom has a camera that can be accessed remotely. Another security feature Ashley had wanted. I scroll back to Saturday, 3:42 p.m. The feed loads in jerky segments. The sunroom, empty. Then movement. A man walks into frame. He's tall, well-built, wearing jeans and a dark polo. The same guy from the hotel photos. I'd spent enough time staring at those images last night to recognize his build, his posture, even partially obscured. He moves through the sunroom like he knows the space, checks the soil in the planters, adjusts the timer, waters the ferns by the window. Ashley's favorites, the ones she'd been worried about leaving during her trip, the ones she'd asked me to water, the ones I'd watered Friday night before her flight. He'd been taking care of her plants, in our house, while she was in Miami. I watched the other timestamps. Same routine. He comes in through, I check the angles, through the back door. The one that leads from the sunroom to the patio. He has a key. Ashley gave him a key to our house. The rage that hits me is different from last night. Last night was shock, betrayal, the shattering of everything I thought I knew. This is violation. This is someone in my home, around my daughter's things, walking through rooms where Emma plays. I'm on my feet, moving through the house. Emma's still asleep. I can hear her white noise machine humming through her door. Upstairs, Ashley's alarm hasn't gone off yet. 6:52 a.m. She usually wakes at 7. The sunroom is exactly as it always is. Morning light filtering through the windows, plants arranged in their careful clusters. The ferns by the window are thriving. Dark green, lush, not a brown frond in sight. The tablet is mounted on the wall by the door, its screen dark. I wake it up, and the Plant Pal interface appears. Current moisture levels, light exposure, temperature. Everything optimal. I navigate to the camera settings. The feed is active, set to record motion events. But when I check the saved recordings, there's a gap. Saturday through Sunday, the motion events are there. I can see the timestamps. But when I try to play them, they buffer endlessly. The files have been corrupted, or deleted, or looped. I check the app on my phone again. The snapshots from the manual overrides are still there. Those are stored on PlantPal's cloud servers, not locally. But the continuous camera recordings, the ones that would show him arriving, moving through the house, leaving, those are gone. He knew about the camera. He knew how to disable or corrupt the feed, Ashley told him. She told him about our security system, our smart home setup, how to bypass it. The back door is locked now, deadbolt engaged. I check it anyway, then check the key hook by the sunroom entrance. Ashley's keys are there: house key, car key, gym fob, the decorative keychain Emma made her last Mother's Day. But there's an empty hook. The spare key that usually hangs there, the one we kept for emergencies, is missing. I take screenshots of everything: the override logs, the timestamps, the snapshots of his hand. I export the data from the app, email it to myself, save it to 3 different cloud services. Then I open a new browser tab and search unauthorized entry home security breach evidence. The results are immediate. Police reports for home invasion. Civil liability for unauthorized key usage. Trespassing laws in Texas. I'm reading through a legal forum when I hear footsteps overhead. Ashley's awake. The shower starts running. I have maybe 15 minutes before she comes downstairs. I go back to the sunroom, stare at the ferns he watered. The ones Ashley was so worried about. The ones she'd mentioned 3 times before leaving for Miami. Make sure you water them. They're so temperamental. They'll die if they dry out. She wasn't worried about me forgetting. She was setting up his access, giving him a reason to be here. I pull out my phone and take photos of the plants, the tablet, the back door. Then I check the app one more time. There's a new notification. From this morning, 6:15 a.m. Manual override detected. Zone 3, sunroom. I tap it open. Another snapshot. The same hand, this time holding a watering can I don't recognize. A copper one, expensive looking, not one of ours. The timestamp is from 30 minutes ago. He was here, This morning, while I was asleep at my desk, while Ashley was asleep upstairs, while Emma was in her room. The snapshot shows more this time. The camera angle caught him full on. The same man from Miami. He's looking directly at the camera, and there's something in his expression. Not concern, not worry about being caught. He's smiling. The shower shuts off upstairs. I stand in the sunroom, surrounded by plants a stranger has been tending, holding evidence of repeated unauthorized entry into my home. And I realize Ashley doesn't know I know. About Miami, about him, about any of it. She's going to come downstairs, kiss me good morning, ask about my presentation, check on Emma. She's going to water her ferns, or pretend to, since he's already done it, and act like everything is normal. Like she hasn't given a man she's sleeping with a key to our house. Like he hasn't been here, multiple times, walking through rooms where my daughter lives. I hear her footsteps on the stairs. My phone is still open to the snapshot of him smiling at the camera, watering plants in my sunroom at 6:15 this morning. I close the app and slip the phone into my pocket. Morning, Ashley says from the doorway. She's in her robe, hair wrapped in a towel, face fresh and clean. You're up early. Couldn't sleep? She moves to the ferns, touches the soil with her fingers. Oh, good. These are perfect. I was so worried about them while I was gone. I watch her hand on the soil he watered an hour ago. Yeah, I say. I made sure to take care of them. She smiles at me. You're the best. I don't know what I'd do without you. The watering can he used, the copper one, is sitting on the shelf behind her, gleaming in the morning light. I set the tablet down with exaggerated care, like it might explode if I moved too quickly. Coffee's ready, I said, forcing my voice to stay level. Want some? Ashley glanced up from the ferns, watering can still tilted. Oh, you're a lifesaver. Yes, please. I walked to the kitchen, each step measured. The coffee maker had finished its cycle, steam rising from the carafe. I pulled down 2 mugs from the cabinet, hers with the chipped handle she refused to replace, mine plain white. My hands didn't shake. That surprised me. Maybe I'd burned through all my adrenaline during the sleepless night, or maybe I'd gone numb somewhere between discovering the Miami photos and finding proof that the same man had been inside our home. Inside our home. The phrase kept circling back. Not just the affair, not just the lies, but the violation of the space where Emma slept, where we kept her artwork on the fridge, where she'd taken her first steps across the living room floor. I poured both cups, added cream to Ashley's the way she liked it. Muscle memory. 6 years of marriage, 9 years together total, and I could make her coffee in my sleep. Here. I handed her the mug as I returned to the sunroom. Thanks, babe. She took a sip, then set it on the windowsill next to a pothos that had seen better days. I was just thinking, maybe we should get one of those vertical garden things. I saw this amazing setup at Whole Foods last week. We could grow herbs right here, fresh basil and cilantro for cooking. I picked up the tablet again, swiping through the Plant Pal interface like I was checking something. The snapshots were still there. Time-stamped. Dated. The man's hand on our timer at 3:42 p.m. last Thursday. His shoulder visible in the frame at 11:18 a.m. on Saturday. The profile shot from this morning at 6:15 a.m., clear enough that I could see the stubble on his jaw. What do you think? Ashley asked. About what? The herb garden. Were you even listening? Sorry, just distracted. Work stuff. I zoomed in on the 6:15 a.m. snapshot. The image quality was better than I'd initially thought. The app had upgraded its camera resolution in the last update, something I'd barely noticed when the notification popped up. Now I could make out details. The man wore a gray t-shirt. There was a small scar above his left eyebrow. His watch was expensive, Swiss probably, with a black leather band. "You're always distracted lately," Ashley said, but her tone was light, teasing. "I swear you care more about those plants than me." The irony would have been funny if my chest didn't feel like someone had parked a truck on it. "Just trying to figure out these manual overrides," I said. "The app logged 3 of them while you were in Miami. Did you ask someone to check on the plants?" The question hung in the air. I watched her face in my peripheral vision, careful not to look directly at her. She'd always been good at reading me, and I needed her off balance, not suspicious. "Manual overrides?" She frowned, setting down the watering can. "What do you mean?" "The system shows someone adjusted the timer 3 different times." I turned the tablet toward her, showing the log screen, not the snapshots yet. "See? Thursday afternoon, Saturday morning, and then this morning around 6. Ashley stepped closer, squinting at the screen. Her hair smelled like her usual shampoo, coconut and vanilla, the same scent that had been on the pillow next to mine for years. "That's weird," she said. "I didn't ask anyone to come by. Are you sure it's not a glitch?" "The app takes snapshots when someone accesses the system manually. Security feature." Her expression didn't change, not immediately. But I saw the micro-adjustment, the slight tightening around her eyes. "Snapshots?" "Yeah. Motion activated whenever someone overrides the automated settings." I swiped to the first image. Thursday, 3:42 p.m. The man's hand on the timer, his forearm visible, the edge of his gray polo shirt. Ashley went very still. "Huh," she said after a moment. I don't recognize that." "No?" I swiped to the next one. Saturday, 11:18 a.m. His shoulder, part of his face in profile as he leaned toward the Fern station. "Must be some kind of error," she said, but her voice had changed. Thinner, higher. "Maybe someone hacked the app? I've heard about that happening with smart home stuff." "Maybe." I pulled up the third snapshot. This morning, 6:15 a.m. Full profile, clear as a portrait. This one was taken about 2 hours ago, while we were all home. The color drained from her face. Not dramatically. Ashley had always been good at controlling her reactions, but I'd known her long enough to see it. The slight pallor, the way her lips pressed together. "I don't understand," she said. "Neither do I." I set the tablet down on the potting bench, next to a bag of soil that had split open slightly, dark earth spilling onto the wood. "That's why I'm asking if you know who this is." "Andrew, I have no idea. Because here's what's strange." I kept my voice conversational, almost academic. "The app logs show these overrides happened when I was out with Emma. Thursday we went to the Children's Museum. Saturday we did the farmer's market and then the park. And this morning I took her to that early pancake breakfast at her preschool. Remember? The fundraiser thing." Ashley's hand moved to her coffee mug, then away. "Okay. So someone had access to our house. Someone who knew when I'd be gone. Someone who felt comfortable enough to walk in here multiple times and adjust the plant watering system. Maybe it was a contractor. Did you hire anyone to—" "No contractors." I met her eyes now. "No service calls. No one I authorized to be here." The silence stretched. Outside, a neighbor's dog barked. The coffee maker in the kitchen gurgled as it finished its heating cycle. "Ashley," I kept my tone even. "Who is he?" "I don't know what you're talking about." "The man in the photos. The one from Miami." I watched her face. "The one who's apparently been in our house. Multiple times. Including this morning." Her mouth opened, closed. She reached for the potting bench to steady herself, and her hand knocked the split bag of soil. It tumbled to the floor, earth scattering across the tile in a dark spray. "Shit," she whispered. "Not about the soil." "Yeah," I said. She crouched down, hands moving automatically to scoop the spilled dirt, but her movements were jerky, uncoordinated. "Andrew, listen, I can explain." "Please don't." I picked up the tablet again, my finger hovering over the export button. I've already sent copies of everything to cloud storage. The Miami photos, these snapshots, all of it. Ashley looked up at me from the floor, soil on her hands. What are you going to do? I called the police this morning, non-emergency line. The lie came easily. I hadn't called yet, but I would. Soon. Reported an unauthorized entry. Multiple unauthorized entries, actually. They're sending someone over this afternoon to take a statement. You can't. She stood quickly, wiping her hands on her yoga pants. Andrew, please, we need to talk about this. We do need to talk. But first, I need to understand how long this has been going on. And I need to know if Emma was ever here when he was. The question hit her like a slap. No, God, no, never. I would never. But you did have him here, in our home, while I was out with our daughter. Tears started down her face, but I felt nothing. No sympathy, no urge to comfort her. Just a cold, calculating part of my brain cataloging her reactions, storing them away for later use. It's not what you think, she said. Then tell me what it is. She opened her mouth, closed it again. Her gaze darted to the tablet in my hands, to the snapshot still visible on the screen. Can we please talk about this somewhere else? Not here, not in the sunroom? I glanced around at the plants, the watering system I'd installed myself last spring. Why not? This is where he was. This is where the evidence is. Evidence. She said the word like it tasted bitter. You're treating this like a crime scene. Unauthorized entry into a private residence is a crime, I said. Breaking and entering, trespassing. I've been reading up on Nevada law. Turns out it's pretty clear. Her face crumpled. He didn't break in. I gave him... She stopped. Too late. You gave him what, Ashley? A key? I watch Ashley's mouth open and close, her hand frozen mid-gesture. The tablet sits between us on the kitchen counter, the Plant Pal app still displaying that 6:15 a.m. snapshot. The man's hand reaching toward the camera, that knowing smile just visible at the edge of the frame. You were about to say something, I say. My voice sounds distant, clinical. About giving him a key? She sets down the watering can she'd been clutching. Water sloshes onto the counter. Andrew, it's not... This looks worse than it is. Worse than a stranger having access to our house while I'm out with our daughter? I pull up the override log again, scrolling slowly. February 14th, 10:23 a.m. I took Emma to that Valentine's party at her preschool. February 18th, 2:47 p.m. We were at the Children's Museum. I look up. Yesterday, 1:15 p.m., the grocery store and park. Her face has gone pale. How long have you been tracking? The app tracks automatically. You set it up yourself, remember? You wanted snapshots every time someone adjusted the settings manually because you were worried about overwatering. I zoom in on the 6:15 a.m. image. This was this morning, while I was in the shower. He was just watering plants. I nod. That's what you're going to say, that he was doing you a favor while you were in Miami. Yes. She reaches for the explanation like a lifeline. Exactly. I asked him to check on them because you always forget and I didn't want my ferns to die and... Except you weren't in Miami when he came over yesterday. I pull up my phone, show her the photos I'd screenshotted earlier. You got back Sunday night. You've been home for 3 days. Why would he still have a key? Why would he be here this morning? The silence stretches. Outside, a neighbor's car starts up. Normal Wednesday morning sounds. Emma will be up soon, padding downstairs in her unicorn pajamas, asking for the cereal with the marshmallows. I need to get those back, Ashley says finally. The keys. You gave him multiple copies? No, just... She stops, regroups. Just one, for emergencies. Emergencies like watering plants? I screenshot our conversation, her admission about the key, and watch her eyes track the gesture. What's his name? That's not important. The police will want to know. Her head snaps up. You said you already called them. I said I was documenting this for a police report, which I am. I gesture at the tablet. Unauthorized entry. Someone has a key to our house that I didn't approve. Someone who's been entering when I'm not home, who corrupted most of the security footage but didn't know the plant app keeps its own snapshots. Andrew, her voice cracks. Please don't do this. Do what? Report a home invasion. It wasn't an invasion. I gave him permission. You're not the only owner of this house, Ashley. I pull up the property deed on my phone. I'd looked it up at 3 a.m. during my research spiral. Both our names are on the title, which means you can't just give out keys to whoever you want without my consent. She slumps against the counter. For a moment, I think she might cry, but her eyes stay dry. What do you want? I want to know who he is, how long this has been going on, what he was really doing in our house. He was watering the plants. At 6:15 this morning? He has an early work schedule. He was just Ashley. I turn the tablet toward her again, force her to look at that smile in the snapshot. Does that look like someone who's just doing a favor? He's looking right at the camera. He knows it's there. He's practically waving. She stares at the image. I watch her face, looking for something. Guilt, remorse, fear. What I see instead is calculation. She's trying to figure out what I know, what I can prove. The Miami photos, I say quietly. I have those too. Her eyes close. Brittany uploaded them to the shared album. The one with 12 people in it, including my brother. I pull them up on my phone. Don't show her. I don't need to. 11:34 p.m. to 2:15 a.m. The hotel room. You and him. Oh, God. Her hand goes to her mouth. Same man who's been in our house. Same smile. I zoom in on the plant app snapshot, then swipe to one of the Miami photos where his face is partially visible. Want to tell me his name now? She's shaking. Tyler Brennan. Finally. A name. I type it into my notes app, watch her flinch at the sound of the keyboard clicks. How did you meet him? The gym, 6 months ago. The words come out mechanical, rehearsed, like she's been preparing this confession. He's a personal trainer there. We just talked at first and then 6 months. I do the math. Emma's birthday party, Thanksgiving, Christmas morning. Each milestone feels like a betrayal stacked on betrayals. You've been seeing him for 6 months? Not seeing. Not like, we didn't. She's fumbling now, trying to find words that make this smaller than it is. Miami was 3 days ago, Ashley. I have the photos. I know what you did. She flinches like I've slapped her. That was the first time. I swear that was the first time we ever. But he has a key to our house. I gave him that a month ago. For the plants. Just the plants. A month ago. Another note typed. Another flinch. So you've been planning this. The Miami trip, the key, making sure he had access while you were gone to establish a pattern. No, it wasn't like that. I knew you'd forget to water them and I didn't want everything to die, and Tyler offered to have a key to another man's house so he could water his girlfriend's plants? He's not my. She stops, starts again. It wasn't serious. It was just. We were just friends. And then Miami happened. And I didn't plan for it to go that far, but we'd been drinking and. Stop. I hold up my hand. I don't want the details. I want to know what else he did in this house. Nothing. He watered the plants, that's all. You're sure? Because he had access for a month. He could have been anywhere, done anything. I pull up the corrupted video files on the security app. Convenient that most of the footage is gone. I don't know anything about that. You didn't delete it? No, I didn't even know there was footage until you showed me. I study her face. She might be telling the truth about this part. Did Tyler know about the cameras? I might have mentioned them when I gave him the key. I told him to avoid the living room because of the nanny cam. But you didn't tell him about the plant app. I forgot about it. I never check it anymore, you know that. I just set it up when we first got the system and then… Her phone buzzes on the counter between us. We both look at it. The screen lights up with a text preview. Tyler, did you get them? We need to talk. Ashley grabs for the phone, but I'm faster. I screenshot the notification before she can unlock it. Get what? I ask. Nothing. It's nothing. The keys? He wants the keys back? She doesn't answer, which is answer enough. When were you planning to get them from him? Before or after you figured out I knew? I was going to get them today, this morning. That's why he came by to drop them off, but you were still home and he smiled at the camera instead. I pull up that 6:15 a.m. snapshot again. Looks real apologetic. Her phone buzzes again. Another text. I screenshot it before she can react. Tyler. I'm serious. Ash, this is getting complicated. He calls you Ash, I say. Cute. Andrew, please. Please what? Please don't document the evidence. Please don't protect myself and my daughter. Please just let this go so you can keep… What? Seeing your personal trainer? Giving him access to our home? I'll end it, right now. I'll text him back and tell him it's over and I'll get the key and… Too late. I forward both text screenshots to my email. I'm calling a locksmith this morning, changing all the locks, and then I'm calling the police to file a report about unauthorized entry. You can't… I gave him permission, without my consent, on property we both own. I meet her eyes. You want to explain to the cops about Miami? About why your boyfriend has a key? Because I'm happy to provide context. She's crying now, finally. Silent tears running down her face. What do you want from me? I want you to pack a bag, I say. I want you out of this house before Emma wakes up. Ashley's face goes white. You can't kick me out. This is my house, too. You're right. I can't legally force you to leave. I pick up my phone. But I can make it very uncomfortable for you to stay. The police report goes in this morning. I've already contacted Patricia Walsh. She's a divorce attorney downtown. First consultation is at 10. Divorce? The word comes out strangled. You're not even going to try to work this out? Work what out? The affair? The lying? The fact that you gave another man access to our daughter's home? I pull up the photos from Miami on my phone, hold them where she can see. Which part should we work on first? She reaches for me, and I step back. Don't. Andrew, please. I made a mistake. I know I did, but we have Emma to think about. I am thinking about Emma. That's all I've been thinking about since 3 a.m. I glance at the clock. 7:15. She'll be up in 20 minutes. You can either be gone, or you can be here when I show her daddy's office for the morning while mommy and I talk to some people about grown-up stuff. Your choice. You wouldn't use her like that. I'm not using her. I'm protecting her. I screenshot another text that just came through on her phone. Tyler again, asking if everything's okay. From this. From you bringing him around. From whatever you thought this was going to be. Ashley's phone keeps buzzing. Tyler's getting anxious. I watch her stare at it. Watch her realize she's losing control of the situation. I need time, she says, to figure out where to go. There's a Marriott on 6th Street. Or you can call Brittany. She seems to know all about your Miami trip anyway. She flinches. How many people know? Everyone in that shared album. My brother. Probably half your friend group by now. I pull up the album sharing settings. Show her the view count. 43 views as of this morning. Brittany's really popular, apparently. Oh God. She sits down hard on one of the kitchen chairs. My job. If anyone at work sees… Maybe you should have thought of that before letting your friend photograph you with Tyler in a hotel room. Her hands cover her face. For a moment I feel something. Not sympathy exactly, but an echo of what used to be there. 9 years? We'd built a whole life. And she'd blown it up for a personal trainer with a nice smile and a Swiss watch. "I'll pack a bag," she says finally. "But I'm coming back for the rest of my things, and I want to see Emma. Supervised visits, through lawyers. She's my daughter. And you put her at risk." I pull up the plant app again, show her the timeline. February 14th. You gave Tyler a key while Emma was at a Valentine's party. What if she'd gotten sick? What if I'd brought her home early and found a strange man in our house? He would have left. He wouldn't have. You don't know what he would have done. You don't know him well enough to give him a key to our house, Ashley. 6 months? You've known him 6 months, and you trusted him with access to our daughter's home? She has no answer for that. I hear movement upstairs. Emma's awake. 20 minutes, I say. Be gone or be ready to explain to a 4-year-old why mommy's leaving. Ashley stands, movements jerky and uncoordinated. She heads for the stairs, then stops. I do love you. Both of you. I know you don't believe that, but you're right. I don't believe it. I turn back to the tablet, start exporting more files. Clock's ticking. She goes upstairs. I hear her in our bedroom. Her bedroom now, I guess, opening drawers, the closet door sliding. Emma's voice calls out, asking if it's pancake day. Not today, sweetheart, Ashley's voice, muffled through the ceiling. Mommy has to go on a work trip. My jaw clenches. Even now, she's lying. 15 minutes later, Ashley comes down with an overnight bag. Her eyes are red, makeup smeared. She's changed into jeans and a sweater, pulled her hair into a ponytail. I'll call you later, she says, about seeing Emma. Through lawyers. Andrew. I mean it. All communication goes through Patricia Walsh from now on. I'll have her office contact you once I've retained her. Ashley's hand tightens on her bag. This is really how you want to do this? You did this. I'm just responding to it. She opens her mouth like she wants to argue, then closes it. Nods once. Okay. She walks to the door, stops with her hand on the knob. For what it's worth, I never meant to hurt you. But you did it anyway. She leaves. The door clicks shut behind her. I watch through the window as she loads her bag into her car, sits in the driver's seat for a long moment before starting the engine. Then she's gone, backing out of the driveway, turning onto the street, disappearing around the corner. Emma appears in the doorway, unicorn pajamas and bedhead. Where's Mommy going? I crouch down to her level. Mommy has to be away for a little while, baby. But you've got me. Pancakes sound good? With chocolate chips? With chocolate chips. She grins and runs to the kitchen. I follow, pulling out the mixing bowl, the ingredients. My hands are steady now. The tablet sits on the counter, still displaying evidence I'll need. My phone has 3 alarms set. One for the locksmith at 9, one for Patricia Walsh at 10, one for the police station at 2. But right now, I make pancakes. I let Emma pour in too many chocolate chips. I flip them when she tells me to, even though they're not quite ready. I put extra syrup on her plate and listen to her talk about the game she wants to play after breakfast. Normal Wednesday morning, except everything's different. My phone buzzes. Kyle. Saw Ashley leaving with a bag. You okay? I type back. Will be. Talk later. Emma chatters about her preschool friend's new puppy. I nod in the right places, make interested sounds. The pancakes burn slightly, but she doesn't care. She's 4. Her world is still intact. I'll keep it that way. Whatever comes next, lawyers, custody arrangements, the divorce that's now inevitable, I'll make sure Emma comes through it okay. The tablet buzzes with another Plant Pal notification. I silence it without looking. Those plants can die for all I care. I've got more important things to protect now. Emma finishes her pancakes and asks if we can play Princess Castle. I say yes. We build it in the living room with couch cushions and blankets, and she assigns me the role of dragon who guards the tower. I play my part, roar when I'm supposed to. Let her defeat me with her foam sword. Watch her celebrate her victory with a little dance. My phone sits on the coffee table, alarms queued up, evidence backed up to 3 different cloud services. Ready for what comes next. But for now, I'm just a dad playing Princess Castle with his daughter on a Wednesday morning. Some things don't change, even when everything else does. The locksmith finished at 10:47 a.m. New deadbolts on all exterior doors, new garage code, even the sunroom back door that Tyler had been using. I handed him a check and collected the old locks in a cardboard box. Evidence, if I needed it. Patricia Walsh's office was downtown, 20th floor of a glass building with a view of the river. Her paralegal offered me coffee I didn't drink, while I waited in a leather chair that probably cost more than my couch. Mr. Peterson? Patricia Walsh was 50-something, gray hair cut sharp, handshake firmer than mine. Come in. Her office was all dark wood and law books. She gestured to a chair across from her desk and pulled out a legal pad. Tell me everything, she said. I did. The Miami photos, the plant app snapshots, Tyler's access to the house, Ashley's admission about the 6-month relationship. I showed her the screenshots, the timestamps, the text messages. She took notes in neat handwriting, asking questions that made me realize she'd done this 1,000 times before. The unauthorized entry is good, she said when I finished. That's leverage. The adultery matters less in Texas than people think. We're a no-fault state. But the judgment factor with a custody evaluation could be significant. I want primary custody. Most fathers do. Most fathers don't get it. She set down her pen. But you've got documentation of behavior that put your daughter at risk. That matters. Tell me about your relationship with Emma. Day-to-day stuff. I walked her through it. Preschool drop-offs and pickups, the bedtime routine, doctor's appointments, playdates. Ashley worked longer hours than I did, marketing director versus my project management role that let me work from home twice a week. You're the primary caregiver, Patricia said. It wasn't a question. We both were. No. Listen to what you just told me. You do morning routine 4 days a week. You handle sick days because your job is more flexible. You know her teacher's name, her best friend's name, her pediatrician's name. She tapped her pen on the pad. Ashley know those things? I thought about it. I don't know. We'll find out in depositions. She flipped to a new page. Here's what happens next. I file for divorce tomorrow, citing insupportability. That's Texas's no-fault ground. We request temporary orders for custody and exclusive use of the marital residence. We include the police report about unauthorized entry, the documentation of Ashley's relationship, evidence that you're the primary caregiver. What are my chances? For primary custody, 60-40, maybe better. For the house? 70-30. Texas is community property, so she's entitled to half the equity, but we can argue you should remain in the residence for stability for Emma. She studied me. This is going to get expensive and ugly. Ashley will get her own attorney, they'll fight back, they'll try to make you look bad. You ready for that? I thought about Emma building her princess castle this morning. Her laugh when I roared like a dragon. The way she'd hugged me goodbye when I dropped her at preschool, completely unaware that her world was splitting in half. Yeah, I said. I'm ready. Patricia's retainer was $8,000. I wrote the check, watched her paralegal make copies of all my evidence, signed forms that made it official. By the time I left her office, it was 11:30. I'd taken the whole day off work, told my boss I had a family emergency, which was true enough. The police station was next. The officer who took my report was younger than me, looked bored until I showed him the plant app snapshots. Then he sat up straighter. So this individual had a key to your residence without your knowledge? Without my consent. My wife gave it to him. And you're married? Both names on the deed? Yes. He typed something into his computer. In Texas, both owners have to consent to giving someone access. If she provided a key without your approval, that's potentially criminal trespass. I want it on record. I've changed the locks, but I want documentation that he was entering without my permission. More typing. Questions about Tyler, full name, physical description, vehicle if I knew it. I didn't know most of it, but I had the screenshots, the timestamps, the evidence of entry. We'll file this as an information report, the officer said. If he tries to enter again, you call 911 immediately. With the locks changed and this report on file, we can arrest for criminal trespass. He handed me a case number on a slip of paper. I folded it into my wallet next to Emma's latest school photo. By the time I picked Emma up from preschool at 3, I'd been awake for 36 hours straight. She bounced out holding a finger painting of what might have been a flower, or possibly an octopus. For you, Daddy. It's beautiful, baby. We'll put it on the fridge. Where's Mommy? Still on her work trip, remember? Oh, yeah. She climbed into her car seat, already moving on to the next topic. Can we have chicken nuggets for dinner? Sure thing. That night, after nuggets and a bath and 2 stories and 3 glasses of water and one more trip to the bathroom, Emma finally fell asleep. I stood in her doorway watching her breathe. This little person who depended on me to hold her world together. My phone buzzed. Ashley. Please let me talk to her. Just 5 minutes. I typed back. All communication through attorneys. Patricia Walsh will contact you. Ashley. She's my daughter Andrew. You can't keep her from me. Me. Supervised visitation through legal channels, that's it. Ashley. You're being cruel. I almost responded to that. Almost pointed out the irony. Instead, I blocked her number and added the screenshots to my evidence folder. Kyle came over around 9 with beer and Chinese food I didn't eat. You look like hell, he said. Feel worse. Emma okay? She doesn't know yet. Still thinks Ashley's on a work trip. I opened a beer I didn't want. How do I tell her? Carefully, honestly, with a therapist probably. Kyle had gone through his own divorce 3 years ago. You line up a child psychologist yet? It's on the list. Make it top of the list. Emma's going to need someone to talk to who isn't you or Ashley. He was right. I added it to my phone notes somewhere between cancel joint credit cards and document all assets. You sleeping? Kyle asked. Not really. Eating? When Emma does. Andrew. He set down his beer. You can't fall apart. Emma needs you functional. I know. So take care of yourself. Sleep, eat, exercise. Whatever you need to do to stay solid. He stood up. I'm serious. This is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. Pace yourself. After he left, I tried to sleep. Lasted maybe 2 hours before I was up again, checking locks, reviewing evidence, making lists of things I needed to do. The days blurred together. Patricia filed the divorce petition. Ashley got served at work. She called from a blocked number screaming about humiliation, and how could I do this to her? I hung up and documented the call. She hired an attorney, some guy named Richard Castellano, who had a reputation for being aggressive. He sent a letter demanding immediate visitation rights. Patricia responded with our evidence and a request for supervised visits only. The temporary orders hearing was set for 3 weeks out. In the meantime, I established routines. Preschool drop-off and pickup. Dinner at 6. Bath at 7. Stories at 7:30. Bedtime by 8. On the weekends, we went to the park, the children's museum, the library. Normal activities, stable environment. Emma asked about Ashley less and less. When she did, I kept it simple. Mommy and I are having some grown-up problems, but we both love you very much. The child psychologist, Dr. Sarah Parker, recommended by Patricia, was better at it. She had Emma play with dolls, draw pictures, talk about feelings. After the third session, she pulled me aside. Emma's resilient. She knows something's wrong, but she feels safe with you. Keep doing what you're doing. The temporary orders hearing was in Judge Diaz's courtroom. Ashley showed up with Richard Castellano, wearing a conservative dress and minimal makeup. She looked thin, tired. Our eyes met across the courtroom and she looked away first. Patricia presented our evidence. The plant app screenshots, the police report, my documentation of being the primary caregiver, Ashley's own admission about the 6-month affair. Richard fought back, claimed Ashley was a devoted mother, that I was being vindictive, that the affair was a one-time mistake in Miami and the relationship with Tyler was just friendship before that. Your Honor, Patricia said smoothly, we have text messages that contradict that timeline. And regardless of when the physical relationship began, Mrs. Peterson gave this man unsupervised access to the marital residence where the minor child lives. That shows poor judgment at minimum. Judge Diaz reviewed the evidence with a tired expression that suggested he'd seen this all before. When he finally spoke, his voice was flat. Temporary primary custody to Mr. Peterson. Mrs. Peterson gets supervised visitation, 4 hours every Saturday, location to be determined. Exclusive use of marital residence to Mr. Peterson pending final orders. Next review in 60 days. The gavel came down. Ashley's face crumpled. Richard whispered something to her and she nodded, wiping her eyes. Outside the courtroom, Patricia squeezed my shoulder. Good first step. Don't get cocky. 60 days, we do this again, and she'll have had time to build her case. What case? The evidence is clear. Evidence is one thing, narrative is another. She'll come in reformed, apologetic, taking parenting classes, going to therapy. She'll say it was a mistake. She's learned from it. She wants to be a better mother. Patricia's expression was grim. I've seen it 100 times. Don't underestimate her. She was right. Over the next 8 weeks, Ashley did exactly that. Enrolled in a parenting course, started therapy, sent carefully worded emails through the attorneys about how much she missed Emma and wanted to be a better co-parent. The supervised visits happened at a family center downtown. I'd drop Emma off, wait in my car for 4 hours, pick her up again. Emma was always quiet afterward. Did you have fun with Mommy? I'd ask. It was okay. Never more than that. Never details. Dr. Parker said that was normal. Emma was protecting herself, not choosing sides. The final orders hearing was scheduled for June. Patricia spent weeks preparing, deposing Ashley, deposing me, building the case. The legal bills climbed past $30,000. I emptied my savings and kept going. 2 days before the hearing, Richard Castellano sent a settlement offer. Ashley would agree to joint custody with me as primary, standard visitation schedule, 60-40 split on assets. In exchange, I'd drop the claims about Tyler and the unauthorized entry. It's not a bad deal, Patricia said when we reviewed it. You get what you want. Primary custody, the house. She gets to save face. What about accountability? This isn't about accountability. It's about what's best for Emma. She leaned back in her chair. You can push for a trial, put everything on record, make Ashley look as bad as possible. Maybe you win bigger. Maybe the judge doesn't like your tone and splits custody 50-50. It's a gamble. I thought about Emma, about stability, about ending this so we could both move forward. I'll take the deal. The final decree was signed on June 15th. 9 years together, 6 years married, ended with signatures on paper and a judge's stamp. Ashley moved into an apartment across town. got a new job. Her old one had become uncomfortable after the Miami photos made the rounds. Started dating someone new, though she kept that away from Emma. The 60-40 custody schedule settled into routine. Emma was with me Monday through Friday, alternating weekends. She adjusted. Kids do. Tyler disappeared from the story entirely. I heard through Kyle that he'd moved to California. Didn't matter. He'd been a symptom, not the disease. 2 years later, I'm watching Emma's end of kindergarten performance from the third row. She's a flower in the school play, waving enthusiastically when she spots me. Ashley's in the back row. We're cordial now, cooperative co-parents who communicate through a shared calendar app and keep conversations focused on Emma. After the performance, Emma runs to me first. I hug her, tell her she was amazing. She runs to Ashley second. I watch them embrace and feel nothing. No anger, no betrayal, just a distant memory of who we used to be. She did great, Ashley says, walking over. She did. Ice cream after? Sure, usual place? We've done this enough times that it's choreographed. We drive separately to the ice cream shop, sit at separate tables while Emma bounces between us, telling us both about her performance. An hour later, we split up. It's my week, so Emma comes home with me. That night, after the bedtime routine, Emma asked the question she hasn't asked in months. Are you and Mommy ever getting back together? No, sweetheart, we're not. Okay, she thinks about it. I like it better this way anyway, less fighting. There hadn't been fighting, we'd kept it away from her. But kids know, they always know. You're happy, I ask. Yeah. Can we have pancakes tomorrow? With chocolate chips? Duh. She grins and rolls over, asleep within minutes. I sit in her doorway like I did that first night, watching her breathe. The house is quiet. The sunroom plants died months ago. I never replaced them. The smart home system got disconnected. The locks are still the ones the locksmith installed that Wednesday morning 2 years ago. My phone buzzes. A dating app notification. I've been trying slowly to move forward. Coffee dates that go nowhere. Dinners with nice women who aren't Ashley. It feels strange, starting over at 37. But Emma likes one of them. Jenna, a teacher who's good with kids and doesn't ask too many questions about my divorce. I silence the notification. Not tonight. Tonight I'm just a dad, watching his daughter sleep, grateful we made it through. The affair, the divorce, the custody battle, all of it is just backstory now. What matters is this. Emma's happy, adjusted, loved. The rest is just noise. I learned something through all of it, something I couldn't have understood before. Marriage isn't destroyed by a single choice. It's destroyed by 1,000 small betrayals that lead to that choice. The distance that grows when you stop paying attention. The assumptions you make about forever. The complacency that sets in when you think you're safe. Ashley and I stopped seeing each other somewhere along the way. Stopped being people who mattered to each other and became people who just shared a house, a kid, a routine. The affair was just the explosion that revealed the foundation had already cracked. I don't forgive her, but I understand her. And maybe that's enough. Emma stirs in her sleep, mumbles something about flowers. I pull her blanket up higher and close the door halfway, leaving the hall light on like she likes. Tomorrow, there will be pancakes with chocolate chips. Next week, there's a field trip I'm chaperoning. Next month, Emma starts summer camp. Life continues, one day at a time, built on routines and small moments and the simple act of showing up. That's what I learned. You can't control everything. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. But you can choose what you do next. You can choose to protect what matters. I chose Emma. I'll keep choosing her. And somehow, that makes everything else bearable.